I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Lenox Township Board of Trustees, Monday, March 3rd, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of meeting agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as written.
I second it.
I have a motion by Clerk Gurley, supported by Trustee Rosio. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the February 3rd, 2025 minutes as written.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Marino, seconded by Clerk Gurley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Public announcements. Public comment. All right, moving on. Consent agenda. All items listed under this consent agenda are considered routine by the Township Board and will be enacted by one motion. According to established Township meeting rules, there will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the board or public so requests at prior to the meeting, in which event the chair of the meeting may remove such items from the consent agenda for discussion and consideration under agenda item number 8 below. Approval of the consent agenda shall be by a majority roll call vote of those present and
I'd like to make a motion to, not make a motion, I'd like to state the orders and bills for the amount of $400,019.45.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Clerk Gurley, supported by Trustee Marino. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Gurley,
Aye.
Marino,
Yes.
Rocio,
Yes.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Reader.
Aye. All right, moving on to number 9, unfinished business, community center rental agreement. Mr. Grable.
Good evening, Board. This evening, we come back in front of the Board with the item that was tabled as unfinished business from the last meeting. This evening, this was sent out to the Board members during the week for any questions, comments. Myself and Trustee Rasil had met, went through, made several changes and adjustments, and we believe what we have in front of you this evening is a very workable, flexible item for us to initiate and open the Lenox Township Senior Community Center for rental opportunities, in addition to our pavilions and other items that we have in the park currently. This evening you'll see in front of you, it is broken out with the rental fees, also operational equipment cost requirements. There's also employee presence requirements. We also have the facility rules, insurance liability, cancellation, additional charges. Every item has been clarified and brought back. Trustee Rasil and I took these items, put them together, and was able to bring this back and present this evening, recommending approval. With that, I'll open it up for any questions or comments from the board.
If there's no discussion, a motion will be in order.
I make a motion that we approve the Lenox Township Senior Community Center rental agreement as written.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Clerk Gurley, supported by Trustee Rosio. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Gurley,
Aye.
Rocio,
Aye.
Sutherland,
new business. Item A, lawn fertilization proposal, Mr. Trombley.
Good evening. I know it kind of seems funny to be talking about lawn fertilization when we still have some snow sitting on the ground, but it's good to get a jump on these things because it's going to be here before we know it. And these companies are basically buying the fertilizer for the year at this time. So I did have True Green, which has been our contractor for approximately the last 12 years, send us some updated quotes. Because of in the past, year to year, it goes by so fast. Some time ago, we did switch to a 3-year contract, which you do have in front of you. So what I'm asking for tonight is to basically retain True Green as our fertilizing company for all of our township properties at the same rate of $2,696.38 per year.
It appears that's for 2 applications, spring and fall.
That's correct. And then they also come back in between and do what they refer to as maintenance, depending on what the weather's doing. If all of a sudden we have an area that pops up a bunch, they'll come and maintain that. That's all built into that price.
Thank you.
But as far as to answer your question, yes, 2 applications. There's 1 guaranteed in the spring, 1 guaranteed in the fall.
I see the library is not included in here, and I believe that we do the lawn maintenance there and snow removal. Do they contract their own?
I really couldn't tell you what they do for fertilization there. The library is its own separate entity.
Okay.
We offer the lawn and snow service to help them, and they do pay us basically a nominal fee to cover our costs to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a motion that we approve True Green to do the fertilization at the Township Hall, Lenox Park, and the fire stations 1 and 2 for the $2,696.38.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion by Clerk Rose, supported by Trustee Marino. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Gurley,
Aye.
Marino,
Aye.
Reader,
Aye.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Rossio.
Aye.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Moving on to item B, rezoning request, Scott Spataford, 64670 Gratiot Avenue, 64666 Gratiot Avenue, 64644 Gratiot Avenue. Mr. Cassie.
Good evening. You
Turn it off.
request for a reason. Try again? Yep. All right. Thank you. The request is from Scott Spataford, as you mentioned. I do not believe he's here tonight, but he was before the Planning Commission last week. He's requesting rezoning from ag to light industrial for 3 properties on the east side of Gratiot, north of here. The addresses that you had mentioned, Mr. Chairman, 64670, 64666, and 64644. The 3 properties are currently partially developed with a storage building, a very deteriorating storage building, some outbuildings, and some vehicle storage. For whatever reason, the reason's unknown, it's been that way for years on agricultural zoning. The proper zoning for that would have been light industrial. He's now requesting to be allowed to requesting the rezoning to light industrial. That would bring his non-conformity into conformance status, and it would allow him to come in and seek additional improvements to upgrade that site to current township zoning standards. I recommended approval to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission concurred on a 5-to-1 vote to recommend to the Township Board.
Thank you. If there's no discussion from the board, the motion will be in order.
I will make the motion of the rezoning request for Scott Spataford with 64670 Gratiot Avenue, parcel 1906-13-102-007, and 64666 Gratiot Avenue, parcel 1906, 13102, 108, and 64644 Gratiot Avenue, parcel 1906, 13102, 09, for the rezoning from agricultural to light industrial as recommended by the Planning Commission and our township planner. I second.
I have a motion by Clerk Gurley, supported by Treasurer Sutherland. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Gurley,
Aye.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Marino,
Yes.
Rocio,
Aye.
Reader.
Aye. All right, moving down to item C, Board Meeting Administration Policy, Mr. Grabo.
Good evening, Board. This evening, you have a board meeting administration policy in your packets. This is an item that has been brought forward for clarification, for notification, as the Board of Trustees sets the precedent for the rest of the boards. Planning Commission, Zoning Board, Board of Review, all of those items. This evening, you're seeing a request and administration policy with some slight adjustment changes throughout that. This has been in the packet for an opportunity for review. I'd like to refer to those items if there's any questions or comments. I believe everyone's had an opportunity to review them. We have not seen any questions or comments back on this particular item. We need to have this brought forward as this is a item of issue throughout some of the boards, and there needs to be primary practice, as we've seen other boards and commissions where folks will stand up in the middle of the meeting, and that's not uniformed or conformed to operate through the process for you guys to be able to handle those meetings properly. There should not be interactions in between the public at that time. There's public comment times, and there's time for the board to comment back to the public. Otherwise, we wind up being here for 9 hours on a discussional item that shouldn't be a process item. It should be processed through, and we're looking at trying to make sure, following the MTA rules, following all the process. These are just minor items that are being brought forward to you for review and a policy administration update. With that, I'll bring it back to the board for any questions or comments.
Yeah, I've got a few questions. Being that everything's going to be electronic and digital now, or you wish to have it that way, paper copies for when I'm sitting here, or are we going to have a screen here?
So 2 items of opportunity to answer. The board can go ahead and make that decision to utilize laptops if you'd like. That's an opportunity. Or if you would like a paper copy printed for you for the board minutes, that can be done. What we're trying to do when you look at this as far as paper copies, when you're sending out plans and huge items like the Planning Commission and all of these things, you're talking about 7 copies of blueprints and then mailing these things. You're talking about anywhere from $15 to $20 per packet being mailed out. It is getting to the point where the cost is becoming way outweighing those items. So in the Planning Commission section, Mr. Trustee Marino, that's one of the items. For the board itself, your packets are not usually as well endowed, if you will, with items. Whereas we can either have laptops or we can go ahead and print the items that you are requesting, but we are trying to reduce that footprint of paper and postage cost.
Okay, and I do understand that. I sat on the Planning Commission, and yes, there was a lot of extra paper. Kind of hard, though, to not have a blueprint in front of you when you're reviewing it, though. If it can be done electronically, that would be good. Okay, but if it's done electronically, then we're all gonna need laptops up here in order to see it.
And the board can approve that operation to have that happen. You're absolutely correct.
Okay,
That's not a, yeah, and interesting enough, not to belabor or go into the cost, but laptops have literally went down to the cost of cell phones nowadays. Years ago, laptops were just absolutely egregious. They're now like $800.
I'm not saying about the price, I'm just, in the long run, it will definitely outweigh it, okay? But as long as we're not having to print up something hours before the meeting, you know, it just doesn't
I know
make sense.
three of us, we have laptops purchased by a previous board. If the two trustees need laptops, I'm sure we can get a quote from High Tech and.
The only time I need a laptop, I'll be here.
Oh, yeah.
It is the way to go to the future, the process, plain and simple. I mean, every board is working towards that for the overall cost effectiveness. So really for us to go back to High Tech and ask for, you know, a price for two, it's no issue. If there is an opportunity that, you know, we have something that needs a planning commission blueprint printout, we can definitely do that and share that item. You know, I mean, we're just trying not to do 7 printouts and 7 mailers by $20 a package by the time we send them out. So looking at that, trying to reduce that footprint, but laptops, you guys can clearly vote or you can clearly direct the office to go ahead and, you know, review those prices and get them back to you.
Are the planning commission members and the ZBA members not picking up packets?
They have
That these are getting mailed out?
Yeah, they have a habit of not coming in and picking them up until the last minute.
Okay. That would be the fault of the member then, not the system.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, like I say, we will be emailing everything out to everybody. If there's something that needs to be printed, all they have to do is email back to the clerk's office. The clerk's office will in fact make a print copy for them at that request.
Okay, but copies of like blueprints and whatnot, those are all supplied by the petitioner, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So they will have a
So
packet.
will they be supplying those anyway?
Those will
They will be
already be
submitting an
supplied
electronic copy.
electronically, correct?
Okay. So they'll submit one electronic copy and you'll disperse them throughout?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. All right, I just wasn't clear on that.
We'd be more than happy, you know, if the trustees or anyone at the board level says, we're interested in that, we'd like the supervisor's office to go back, get us the quotes, come back and tell us what it'll be for 2 laptops or whatever the case be, you're more than welcome to make that direction, and we'll do that.
I would say that's essential. I mean, if we're gonna go all electronic, then let's, you know, not do it halfway. We're not gonna be saving money, we're not gonna be saving all this extra paper if we don't do that.
Correct.
Because
You're still shuffling paper no
I'm
matter
gonna
what,
need this mess, no matter what.
until you get a laptop.
Yes.
Well, even if we do get a laptop, we might want to print it out. We still can, right? That's not.
You still
clear.
can.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can do what we want. They're emailing it to us, so we can print it if we want to.
Well, yeah, I mean, there wouldn't be any excuse if I've got a laptop in front of me.
Yeah.
In fact, it'd be a lot cleaner.
I don't know, what would I do on?
But I'm, you know, definitely gonna need something.
What we're trying to do is just have a clear, consensual, informational piece for the policy of administration at every board level. That each board follows the same practice and basically the same Robert's rules. As you'll see on the second page, there's a very clear standard item of practice, call to order, pledge of the flag, that type of thing. There's just a standard practice protocol. So just normal operations is what we're asking for.
Well, what I was trying to get to is we can't get rid of paper unless we have something to replace it with.
Absolutely understood. And we did talk about that, but we really can't make that recommendation without having the board members see that need and then go back and say, yep, we understand what you're looking to do, but we in fact do need the item to replace it, which we have no problem going back and getting that as long as the board understands what we're doing.
All right. I will make a motion to approve the board meeting administration policy as detailed.
I'll second.
I have a motion by the chair, supported by trustee Rosio. May the deputy clerk please call the roll?
Reader,
Aye.
Rossio,
Aye.
Marino,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Sutherland.
Aye.
All right. Moving on to item D, code enforcement officer formal hire request. Mr. Grabo.
Good evening, board. This evening, it's our pleasure as the supervisor's office with the building department reporting to our facility and sectional line that we are requesting a motion to approve and have the board approve Mr. Eugene Boyd as the Lenox Township Code Enforcement Officer at the current hourly rate of $17 per hour as recommended by our office. Mr. Boyd, came to us on a 90-day probation period. He's been attached to the building department under the code enforcement section. He has worked very hard to relearn and learn a new process from his former opportunity that he was involved with in building maintenance and so on and so forth. This has been a learning curve and a learning practice, and we have clearly seen Mr. Boyd's desire to grow and his strength. And we believe at this point in time, the board allowing us to go ahead and hire Mr. Boyd would be a positive impact for our code enforcement section. With that, I'll bring it back to the board for any questions or comments.
I motion to approve Eugene Boyd as the Lenox Township Code Enforcement Officer at the hourly rate of $17 per hour as recommended by the supervisor's office.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Sutherland, supported by Clerk Gurley. May the deputy clerk please call the roll?
Sutherland,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Reader,
Aye.
Marino,
Aye.
Rossio.
Aye.
All right, moving down to item E, clerk administrative payroll assistant formal pay request. Mr. Grabo.
All right. Once again, honorable board this evening, in lieu of the clerk's office, the supervisor's office will make the request for the administrative payroll assistant, a formal hire request. Ms. Mattis was brought on board 90 days ago also with Mr. Boyd and has been proven to be a valuable asset. She walked into quite a empty section that said, here, you need to learn this. And very quickly, they have both taken on a tremendous role. Ms. Mattis has done a number of things, not only for the clerk's office, but also for the supervisor's office. In numerous roles, she's jumped in, she's helped the treasurer's office. Ms. Mattis has always been an instant team player. With that and the background of all of us working with her day-to-day operations, it is with pleasure that the clerk's office is requesting that the board approve and hire Ms. Mattis at the starting rate of $17 per hour as recommended. With that, I'll open it up for any questions or comments.
I would like to make the motion to hire Mary Mattis at $17 an hour for the clerk's department.
I second.
I have a motion by Clerk Gurley, supported by Treasurer Sutherland. May the deputy clerk please call the roll?
Gurley,
Aye.
Sutherland,
Aye.
Reader,
Aye.
Rossio,
Aye.
Marino.
Yes.
All right, item F, building department backup building official request, Mr. Beard.
Good evening, board. Once again, this evening, under the building department that does in fact report to our offices, there has been a request made by our building official to allow us to go out and hire an additional recruit and hire an additional building official in lieu of absenteeism for the current backup building official. Mr. Lemieux is our full-time building official. We do have a backup in case of any issues, questions, or concerns. And the absence of Mr. Lemieux, we do have a backup official. That backup official is actually out of the state and plans on being out of the state for a short, long-term period of the next 6 to 8 weeks at the minimum. With that, we would like an opportunity to recruit a building official on a part-time basis if needed. And we have that paperwork coming into us as we speak because that is a very hard area to fulfill. Building officials are just not a dime a dozen. Certifications don't come off the walls very easy. At this point in time, we do have a building official that has made interest to us from Washington Township, willing to participate as a part-time fill-in for Mr. Lemieux on vacation or on an absentee issue or of medical health. So what we are requesting this evening is to allow our office to ascertain all the information required and return that to the board with a final approval to hire a part-time official for replacement if needed on a temporary basis. This is only if our building official is unavailable or medically incapable. With that, I'll open up for any questions or comments for clarification.
I'll make a motion that we approve the recommendation of hiring a backup building official to ensure the township is covered when Dennis is requesting time off.
I'll second the motion.
I have a motion by Clerk Gurley, supported by Trustee Rosio. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Gurley,
Aye.
Rossio,
Aye.
Marino,
Aye.
Reader,
Aye.
Sutherland.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gerber. Moving on to item G, budget workshop schedule. So it's that time of the year again where the wonderful budget season begins. I am proposing that we have to have at least one. So I'm proposing we at least do one in March and schedule more as we need to. That way we don't have a schedule packed full of workshops that, let's say this, that once we have a budget built out, we won't need it anymore. So the first one I am looking for is to do Wednesday, March 12th at 3 o'clock. And then we can schedule more as needed.
Where do we do it? Here?
Yeah.
In here.
In here.
Okay. It's good with me.
So I will make that a motion.
I'll second.
that.
All right, I have a motion by the chair, supported by Trustee Marino. May the Deputy Clerk please call the roll.
Reader,
Aye.
Marino,
Aye.
Gurley,
Aye.
Rossio,
Aye.
Sutherland.
Aye.
All right, moving on, public comment. Going once. All right, moving on, call from the board.
I had a question for Mr. Trombley. The heating and cooling bids for this building, Last month, I believe you mentioned that you were waiting for some more to come in. Has there been any progress from applicants?
That, you're speaking in regards to the HVAC system, did I hear you?
Heating, cooling.
Correct.
Yes.
So I did engage 2 other contractors. I did get some quotes, not only for the replacement of units like we have currently, as well as the installation cost for a gas line to be brought to this building. I'm still awaiting some numbers for supplemental heat to utilize that gas line. The other contractor did a site visit. He says he has a quote ready. I have not received it from him. For them also to do something with supplemental heat to utilize the gas line, looking like we may have to engage a mechanical engineer to do something as far as how it will retrofit with our existing system. I did have a meeting last week with Johnson Controls where I had a different individual looking at it and got a better understanding of what we're up against and different avenues, options that we want to look at other than sticking squarely with the geothermal. So it's one of those works in progress, and because there's so many parts to it, it's a lot of navigating, if you will. Also, the last couple, 3 weeks with the extreme weather we had, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but these guys have been very difficult because everybody's been really busy putting out fires per se because of how cold it's been and what their business is. But I've been slowly making work on it. It's just not going very fast.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no one else, adjournment.
I make a motion that we adjourn at 7:02.
Second.
I have a motion by Clerk Gurley, supported by Trustee Marino. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned.